Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. So we have the new setup here. I have the new camera, the new microphone, even have an Elgato light up here. So I'm hoping that there is a lot more clarity in here, a lot more sound. That is better. Still have a lot of changes to do with the setup, but I am loving the new setup. I'm not sure, and I'm hoping the camera will have the utilization for the entire live stream. I haven't tested it out for an entire hour. So again, I am hoping that we are going to have the ability. Now in today's video, we are going to be building out the awakened version of Safiya. So overall, guys, we're seeing her used in a couple of smaller formations, but it doesn't seem like she is really having the same priority that we've seen from Belinda, that we've actually seen with a lot of the awakened heroes. So it is pretty interesting to see that, again, she's not seeing a lot of the utility. I thought coming out as a support hero within here that we would see a ton. Now, one place that she is absolutely dominating by far, guys, is of course the Mauler Tower. We have some players that have won 100, 120 floors plus within the Mauler Tower because they had 60 saved, utilizing her and building her out just because, again, when it comes to the Mauler Tower specifically, it was incredibly difficult to make progression in there. Since we got Salakai a little bit easier, but Numisu actually carried the formation for so long. And now that we do have another solid support hero in there, especially with this SP effect, making it really, really strong. So we're going to go ahead again. We're going to build her out. I think I have her 373 cards. Now, I believe when we built out the last Awaken, it took a little bit over 400. So we might be very close to actually building her out, which I'll be super excited about. Again, she is the only one that we do not have at this point. We have all the Awakened heroes. I'm short of that Awakened version of Aziz built right now. So making some more progression, picking up some more cards. But yet to see the impact. I feel like right now it's a little bit too early to see exactly where she is going to fall within formations. I think she's going to have a place. We just have to figure out how. Let's see what we got here, guys. Harris is here. Raphael, what is going? I also got Rem to plus 30 engraving. That is awesome, as Rem is huge to have. What's going on? Brian is here. This setup is better. Yeah, the setup, guys, I know. So I went from a $79 webcam that I bought during COVID, actually right before COVID, to an actual camera, like an actual Sony camera, which is good. Again, upgraded the mic. The mic that I had was same. It was about 70, 80 bucks when we started doing streams, when we started doing YouTube. So I figured it was time for a light. It was time for better equipment. Just having a much, much better setup overall makes it very good. I only got one copy on Huntington. So a lot of people have said that, Harris, that it has been incredibly difficult to get some copies. Now, on the flip side, I've seen some, yeah, this is the Furry Hippo Gaming. This is the merchandise that we've had before. Yeah, that is right, Yoshi. We had a couple things. I don't think the merchandise store is up anymore. I took it down probably a couple years ago at this point. But yeah, this is the Furry Hippo Gaming. It also has it on the back, the big Furry Hippo logo, which is really cool. That was the merch. I did it specifically so I could buy it, which I love. Let's go ahead, guys. Let's get into some of the summons. Yeah, she's being used right now, Ghost, in the Nightmare Corridor. We are also seeing her in the Cursed Realm. I expect that through time, we're going to see her again in a lot of other game modes. We're also going to see her again in time within the Treasure Scramble, a couple other places. I feel like there's going to be a few spots and a few slots where we're going to find her in formations, which is cool. I love having the hero, and I love having the ability to actually build out the hero, which is good. Wish you luck on the polls. Safiya was the worst. So, Dom, the worst for me has ever been the Awakened version of Thane. He took 700 plus cards, which was insane. Absolutely crazy to pull the Awakened version of Thane. What's going on, Alfred Us? Black Waffle is here as well. Got 4 copies and 108 cards. That is awesome. Now, of course, we do have the discounted, guys. And I also wanted to share in here the King's Tower. That is right, guys. 1,002 with the Tower of Light. I completed 2 more stages, which means we're going to get some more cards out of here. I have been making progression in the tower, but that is floor 1,000 of the Lightbearer Tower done, which I'm hoping to make, again, some more progression within the Brutal Citadel. That has always been the struggling one. So I'm hoping picking up that Awakened version of Safiya is going to give us the ability to actually make a lot more progression in here. I also did save the trial version of her. I have not done the... I did the Voyage. I haven't done the Misty Valley. And then also I haven't done much out of the Magician's Hat. We've been kind of pulling back and forth here to get some of these, but I've been looking to get the engraving mats. That way, when we do get Safiya, we can actually build her out. All right, guys, let's pop open all of our resources, get into the summons here. Hopefully, again, we can get some solid copies in there. Now, of course, we have an incredible amount of rare stones, which we just recycle. For Twisted Essence, we have 3 elite stones, which gives us, of course, a copy of the wall, guys. Unfortunately, he's not used anywhere. Very, very cool design with Titus, but overall not used within AFK Arena. Kayleen, of course, has a little bit of viability. One pull here, which is Pippa. Unfortunately, hoping it would be the new version, the awakened version of Safiya. So let's hop over here and look at that. A brand new subscriber. Thank you, David, for subbing to the channel. Very, very cool to see. Though you wouldn't recommend building her for light spenders free to play. Not right now, Kraken. And the reason is when you look at the tier list, when you look at the heroes that we do have, there's a lot of heroes that are much, much higher above her. So even looking at the tier list, again, could change exactly where she's falling. But the awakened version of Belinda is still the biggest priority, guys. She just dominates every single game mode, including right now the Abyssal Expedition or Temple of Time, or the Abyssal Expedition. She is just crushing it. Brutus has a lot of utility in there as well. Solus has a lot of utility in there. The awakened version of Baden, even the awakened version of Athalia and Matria, all have spots in best in slot teams across multiple game modes. And again, Safiya is slowly kind of working her way in there. Just not quite in there as of yet. What's going on, Shady? Ended up pulling Matria since, yeah, and that's it. And also, guys, keep in mind, and I say this a lot, make sure that you do know who you can borrow. That is one of the biggest things, especially in multiple game modes when it comes to the Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor. Always remember, guys, who you can borrow for the short term, and that is the hero. For an incredible amount of time, I borrowed the awakened version of Baden, just for the simple fact that I did not build Baden. I actually had Aziz. Once I had the opportunity to build out Baden, we went that route. But knowing who you can borrow, again, with the awakened version of Safiya, I don't think too many players at this point have her. But even here from Felipe, I can get an E60. So doesn't have the 9 of 9 furniture, but definitely a build right there. If I wanted to borrow the hero, I could from a multitude of players, meaning that I don't really need to build her for those game modes specifically because I have the ability to borrow her. Why are the Maulers the weakest faction? Apolloneer, we have talked about that forever. It seems like the team over at AFK Arena or Lilith does not like the Maulers. The Maulers have gotten the short end of the stick for pretty much the 4 years that they've been out. It has been incredibly difficult to make progression in the tower. And there was a point where until Titus was released that we didn't even have anyone to crowd control within the Mauler faction, which again was kind of crazy because you didn't have the opportunity or the ability to really make a lot of progression within the tower. The tower has always been the lagging or the most difficult to really get through there. Yes, absolutely. Awaken Belinda is the #1 priority, just for the simple fact, again, it is a hero that is used everywhere. Every single game mode has the awakened version of Belinda, and in some variation, in some methodology, she is used anywhere, and she is the best in slot, even in campaign formations, even in tower formations. She is doing incredibly well across everything. What's going on, Joe Mary and Little Slayer as well? She's awakened Taylene tier. Yeah, and that's it. And that's kind of what a lot of people have been saying, Ghost. We tested her out heavily when it came to the test server. Didn't really see a lot of utility. And again, even looking at her utility within the Nightmare Corridor and the Cursed Realm, how much of a difference is she making over the current heroes that we already had in that game mode? Not huge. There's not a huge game-changing difference because essentially, if you remember, the teams that we were running with the awakened version of Belinda was running Rain. So as of right now, guys, Rain has been dropped out. The awakened version of Safiya has been put in that formation in place of Rain, which again, not an incredible amount of utility or not really a game-changing difference with swapping those two heroes out when it comes to damage. Definitely best in slot, a little bit more damage within the game mode, but you're not talking night and day when it comes to the game mode and really building it out. What's going on? The Headiest film? Going great today. Testing out the new setup. Again, if the camera goes off, if anything, I want to test it and want to see what it is. Shout out from the Philippines. What's going on, Joshua? On your advice, I invested in Scarlet and went to chapter 18. Yes, absolutely, Harris. Scarlet is still huge, guys. And again, Scarlet might not have quite the utility that she had once upon a time, but when you look at Scarlet and when you look at the utility, if you have every single hero built, Scarlet does have quite a bit of utility overall, but you're not going to see her as many places. Again, if you have a whale comp where you have all of these heroes built, or if you're still utilizing, a lot of players still run Ainz, a lot of players still run Scarlet, again, because you don't have everyone built. And what's going on? Greetings from the Ukraine. What is going on over there? I hope everything is well where you're at. Awakened Safiya is broken in the treasure scramble. Yeah, this CR buff is, and that's it. So again, we're not seeing her an incredible amount of utility, guys. All right, fingers crossed. It is time. We're going to go in here and we are going to try to get the Maestro of Power, the awakened version of Safiya. We do get the discounted summons, which again, we just have, what, 8 more days on global to get those discounted summons, guys. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can get a couple copies. Gonna get some resources, and we get one right off the bat. That is right. The first summon, the first pull, we do get a copy of her, which is awesome to see. Very, very cool. So we are 1 for 1, 10 cards, 1 copy, which I love. Thanks for the insight. I have pay to win and free to play watching your videos. Oh, super welcome. Yeah, guys, I love doing the videos. Most of you know I do absolutely love doing the streams. I love doing the videos. Want to try to keep out because I feel like we're going to get the diamonds again. I'm really hoping that we do, but they don't pop up in here. It's kind of hard to see when the diamonds do come, if they come with that $30,000 chest. All right, so there we go. There is a second copy, and it is double. It is a double right there, guys. Boom. That is 3 copies, and I believe that is all of our, I think that was, what, 6 pulls? 6 pulls, we got 3 copies, which takes it to Legendary Plus, which is very cool. I want to get that. Missed you so much in the videos. Been working to catch up. Oh, what's going on, Lynn? Lindsay True, thanks for joining us. This Cursed Realm and Nightmare Psychometria is not used, whereas a Safiya is in both. Yeah, and Rinzi, that's where it's going to be interesting to see. It's quite dark. I'd suggest getting a key light. So I have a light, Shady. Funny you should say that. So I have a light, and it's hard to test everything by myself. If it's a little bit dark, I have a control center. I have a light. My light is set down, actually set down a ton. So let me see if I can actually set this up a little bit. And I wanted to get your feedback. Thank you for the feedback. I'm Shady, because I can literally turn up the light. I can turn up the softness. I can turn up the brightness. I can turn up whatever I need to on this light. So I can make a lot of adjustments in here, depending on the lights, on how bright we want it to be. Might be easier to see. And let me know. I can change the light whenever we need to. What's going on, Ben? Yeah, definitely. We got 3 copies already, guys, which is awesome. 331 cards left. We need some more copies. We got to continue with the luck here and getting these copies. We burned through an incredible amount of cards. It's going to be a lot more difficult to actually summon her up. Getting some resources out of there, but we've gotten 3 copies so far. And it looks like they're going to make us do all 6 on here. And there we go, guys. There is another copy, which is just a single. Got some more cards out of there. We got some Graveborn cards. All right, so that is 4 that we have gotten so far. We need some more, guys. We need a double. We need a triple. It's going to be, again, a lot of cards. And there we go. There is another copy. So that gives us 5, which is just another single. And look at that, guys. We have another sub. That is number 2 right there. Not even going to try to pronounce it. Thank you for subbing. Manufika fan. I'm sure that's abbreviation for something 20. Thank you for subbing to the channel. Crescio or Ogath builds. Were you looking, Ben, for which one to build or how high to build them out? I'm not sure which one. Mishka or Tamaris for the Damon comp early. I like Mishka. The big reason is Tamaris does require a significant investment, still broken, to really work with the survivability. Mishka will work with the wolves. Mishka will work in a bunch of different methodologies. Where Tamaris dies. I tried Tamaris out early. Didn't work as well as I wanted to with Tamaris. And look at that, guys. It is a back-to-back pull. Once again, we get 2 in a row right there. That's what we need. That's what we need if we are going to build her all the way up. Need, again, another double, need a triple. We need a few more summons in here to make it a lot easier to get these heroes, guys. And again, they're making us do quite a few summons in here. We have some max out resources, which of course are going into the bag. And there we go. There is another one. Boom, another copy right there. Very, very nice. That gives us, I think, 6. I think that is 6. The best to build. So Crescio requires 30930. It is really the build for Crescio that works well. I know, or maybe it's the 303. I think it might be the 303 30 for Crescio. Olgath requires a big build out. Olgath, of course, with the damage, the E60 on Olgath, but Crescio doesn't need it. I don't have Crescio built. I don't have Crescio built that far either. I believe my Crescio is 30930, and that's as far as I'm going to build him. And of course, there we go. So it is a soccer team. That's what I thought. I was like, I know looking at that, it's either super random letters or it is a soccer team or it is an abbreviation for something, which is awesome. And ascended in 300 plus. Yeah, that would be kind of crazy. If we got her to ascended with 300 cards, that would be insane. And again, they're making us go pretty deep here, guys. We have 81 left. So again, the rate's not going to be super effective in this one, but there is another copy. And we know over the next couple weeks, over the next couple months, we'll get more cards out of here. We'll continue building it out with the copies we have. Unless we get a double, unless we get a triple, we can get lucky with hopefully at least 1 or 2 more copies. I want to get her at least a Mythic, possibly Mythic Plus. And there we go, guys. There's another copy, which is just another single, but that is one more closer. Do you think the game will add Rem and Amelia to the Garrison? Rem and Amelia, I would say, because of the crossover, they'll probably go to the Garrison. They'll go to the Garrison. The big thing with that is them going to the Garrison. I don't think any of our collaboration heroes actually went to the store. I think all of the dimensionals that are within the store are not the collaboration, that are not the crossover heroes that work incredibly well. I think all the crossover heroes are in the Garrison, and that is back to back, guys. There's one more copy, and I think we have 10 more cards. What do we have? 11 more cards. Could we pull another one? Could we get, what's going on, Juliana? And Badal is here as well. Let's see if we can get one more copy, guys, with these 11 last cards. It is no copy on there. And then the final card right here, boom, is just some more resources. But that's okay. Let's see where we have her built out. Got another copy of Kaz, which again is just going to be recycling right there. So overall, it doesn't seem too bad on the summons. I mean, there is Legendary Plus. We will take her to Mythic right there. And I believe we have, 3 more to take her to Mythic Plus, but that's it. So we are 3 copies shy. So I believe we had around 380 cards. So we took her to Mythic Plus. So again, another 3 copies is all we need. Or no, 2 more. We have one in there, so we only need 2 more copies. So honestly, not too bad. I mean, out of 387, I think 387 was the number we had at the beginning. We just need 2 more copies and we'll be able to get her up to that ascended level, which is good. I mean, I am pretty happy with that. Building her up a little bit. We're already on level 757. So again, making an incredible amount of progression in here. And the power just continues to climb as we continue to make more progression through the campaign, which I want to do a couple things in here, but we can absolutely make some more progression. There we go. Let's build her out a little bit, guys. Let's see if we can get a couple cards. 616 cards, and mine is Mythic Plus. Yeah, Ben, that's some bad rates. Those are that's some pretty bad rates. No, Solus is better than Safiya. Yes, Dark Lucifer, absolutely. Thank you for the knowledge of the game and your financial channel. Oh, you're welcome, Blaster. We got a lot more coming on both channels, guys. I took a little bit of a break from making a credible amount of content. It's been busy. I'm actually going on vacation the end of next week, so I will not be streaming for that following Sunday. So next Sunday, I will not be here. We're actually going to be out of town on vacation. We got double copies of Damon, and again, all of these copies pretty much at this point, short of it being a new hero, is just recycled. We recycle so many heroes in here. It's kind of crazy, but I love that we have the ability to recycle because this is just food, guys. all of these are just fodder within the Temple of Ascension as we just continue to build them out. I'm hoping maybe we have someone. Nope. So as you can see, everybody's already at 5 stars. We don't even have any food to go ahead and build out of there. Buy some cards. Let me take a look. Let me build up Safiya a little bit. I'm not sure if I have anything here to buy cards with. I'm going to have to look. I'm definitely going to have to look, Ghost, if we have anything. I don't think I do. I don't think we have anything on here. I haven't bought any cards because I just preload gift cards in here. Makes it incredibly easy and makes it incredibly easy to track my spending in here. But let's build her up a little bit. We'll see if we can get her built up a little bit further. Now, of course, signature item. We have been saving the resources for this. Now, with the Awakened Heroes, of course, you have to build them out because if not, they're not going to have the skills and abilities that you have to really make these heroes successful. 10 copies from 381. That's one. Okay, so there we go. So we had 381, one every 38 cards. That is awesome. That is some definite good luck right there. Hope the next hypo will be better than the last 2 normal hypos. Yeah, I hope so. It seems like the Hypogen heroes right now have been kind of lacking. It seems like, again, a lot of players not doing an incredible amount with the hypo heroes. We know the celestial heroes have kind of been on point, which is awesome. I'm kidding. Oh, if we have a Ghost, definitely I will, and I always do. This is the pay to win account, guys. You know, this was the old, we built this on donations. We built this account from the beginning. I love building this out and playing it. It is awesome to see, especially with the Awakened Heroes. And again, we'll see. I don't think, let's see. We'll see what we have in here, Ghost. Get some free Stargazer cards out of there. Get, of course, some gear. I want to get the animated avatar frame. As much as I am not impressed with the hero, I like how she looks. I love the design of her. It is really, really cool to see. Overall, the design, the build, the avatar frame, even the animation, they did incredibly well. I feel like they just need to tweak her skills up a little bit, which I think would make a really, really big difference. I'm not sure. Let me see. And it's funny because it's going to pop up in here. And let me see if, no. See, we have nothing. We have $3. We have $3. So unfortunately, Ghost, as much as I'd like to, you likely have the advancement package. Yeah, I think that's a really good one, and it's not here. There's usually a specific one for her. Sometimes it triggers on the reset. That's what it did with Demia. So we didn't have the ability to actually build that out. So I'm gonna have to work on there. But yeah, we can pick up some of these, especially for the next time we do the stream, but we'll also pick up cards. Now, I get a ton of cards out of here, which of course we get cards every day, and then we get cards out of the shop every day. So both of them, we do collect a lot of resources. We get 2 cards every single day. So even by the next time we do the stream, should be pretty set to go ahead and have those. Let's hop over. We saved all of our Poke Coins. If you guys remember, if you think of the stream from last week, we have 162,000 Poke Coins. That is right, guys. In 2 weeks, we have 162,000 Poke Coins. I've been building them out a little bit, and we do have that Awakened version of Safiya in there. We put Trishia in there as well, as you can see right here. Still got to build out Drez a little more, as well as the other heroes. Now, one hero that I think a lot of players really do overlook is right here, Edwin. Edwin has been doing incredibly well, and Edwin has also been making his way into a bunch of different formations, which is really cool to see. I'm happy to see that his Dominion effect is working into formations. We've also started seeing him in a lot of the Cursed Realm formations and the Nightmare Corridor formations. Is it worth to invest in Rem? Yes. Rem is OP. Rem is super, super strong. I would absolutely invest in Rem. In 2 weeks, we have that many coins. Yes, Dark Lucifer, we do. I've been putting everything into Poke Coins. We have that many coins. In addition, I haven't done the Misty Valley yet, which of course is going to be a lot of Poke Coins we're going to get out of there. But I've used a lot of chests and a lot of resources. When we even got the chest from the current Abyssal Expedition, I have used some of those. Edwin is a victim. Yeah, exactly. He seems good, Ghost, and I do like him. Opinions on the Awakened version of a Thane. At this point, with the Awakened version of Thane, I probably would not build him if I already had him. Honestly, it's kind of, the Awakened version of Thane requires a very high investment. He's used in very limited game modes, which a lot of players just use the copy of Orin, which is the Wilder hero, in place of that awakened version of Thane without the cost. If you're a whale, if you have a lot of extra cards, go ahead, put them all in. The awakened version of Thane does work incredibly well. But again, I wouldn't invest in it at this point, especially if you are free to play. If you're a light spender or anything like that, I wouldn't waste the cards to go ahead and put them on. Do you know how much you spent on this card over time? I believe it was like 12, I think 12 or 15. I know mathematically we're on VIP 15. We have 953,000 points. I know there's a way to calculate it. I'm not 100% sure exactly how much it is troll face that we have put in here. But again, this is mathematically, there's a general rule of what you can apply to that. I'm not sure. I know Javid knows it. I think he's out today. He's been having a lot of crazy things going on in his neck of the woods. But Rex Chen, look at that. That is 3 subscribers, guys. We try to get 5 every single stream. That is awesome. Awakened Thane is mental. Yeah, Awakened Thane works incredibly well. But again, to invest in him now, it is kind of an overkill. Again, depending on the cards, where you're talking 4 to 6 months, kind of for a ramp up of building that awakened version of Thane. Starting to invest in him now, or beginning to invest in him now. Again, I don't feel it would be very beneficial just because of the sheer cost of those awakened heroes. I have Belinda, Brutus, Solus. Who should I build, Baden or Athalia? Honestly, Lucifer, I would go for the awakened version of Athalia. And the logic behind that is we see Baden used in a lot of formations. We also see Athalia used in a lot of formations, except the awakened version of Thalia is a much, much newer hero. That is really the reason. When you look at the difference in the two, you're probably talking a year plus with the awakened version of Athalia compared to Baden on the release. So when you look at the sheer power creep of the heroes, I feel like you'd get a lot more utility out of the awakened version of Athalia. In addition, when it comes to the Celestial Tower, the awakened version of Athalia will carry you with the damage that you need in that formation, where the Graveborn Tower works incredibly well without having the awakened version of Baden. You can still find a lot of formations that work incredibly well. Do we have any collab leaks? Not as of right now, Year. And what's going on, Project Dolphin? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I would build Athalia. Again, comparing both of the heroes, they both do have a lot of utility. But that awakened version of Athalia, I feel like you'd have a lot more utility and a lot more future utility really going in there. How do I get so many Pokecoins? A lot of them come from refreshes. So even looking here in the store, guys, I refresh this right now twice a day to get the Pokecoins. So I'm getting 750 Pokecoins a day. And then out of a lot of the chests that I've gotten, not including all of the ones that we have gotten out of the Magician's Hat with the pull, but a lot of chests that I've gotten out of the Vault of Time in different game modes, I have used those chests to get more Pokecoins. I've really tried to build up the Pokecoins, knowing that we had a lot of heroes to build out furniture, including Demia, including Olgath, including the awakened version of Safiya. Let's get into these summons, guys. The awakened version, yeah, Awakened Athalia is awesome. Absolutely. So I'll show you, and we'll hop over. We will do a couple different things when it comes to, we'll check out the Abyssal Expedition. There we go, guys. There is a copy for Ty Lee. Now, where is she at? She's at 3, so that only puts her at 4. We only have to look out for Drez right now because I don't want to overbuild these heroes, guys. There's another copy, which is Guineas right there, guys. Guineas is another hero similar to Edwin we're actually seeing in a lot of different formations, which is cool. There's a copy for Olgath. And I want to figure out, I think I want to build out at this point probably Demia with the cards. There's Ty Lee, which takes her to 5. We still need that last copy for Drez, guys, and then we can drop Drez out. At this point, there is the awakened version of Safiya. So that is 1 for Safiya. At this point, a majority of them we built out. We've been building out a lot of other heroes. There is Demia. Again, another one I want to completely build out. I know your special tickets you get as free to play in the game for buying those awaken units. So right now, how much special tickets can you get as free to play in this game for buying those awaken units, and where? So the pity timer is about 60, 65. CRM, the pity is about 60 to 65. I believe 65 pulls is the true pity. The special ticket, the tickets come with time. To get the Awakened Heroes, there actually comes a time you can buy them out of the shop. I believe it is much later, like chapter, what is it, chapter 24, 26. I know it is a little bit later that you do get the ability to buy those Temple of Time emblems. It does take a little bit. You're a little bit further down the road when you get to build those. Let me make sure, guys, I wasn't paying much attention, but Gideas gets that 3 of 9 furniture, which is awesome. Still need Drez, but Olgath is almost done as well. Big driving factor, of course, within the Matria comp is building out Olgath. The higher you build him with the stats, the higher you build him with the abilities, make a big difference. There's Gideas again, guys. We're getting a lot of Gideas. Should I go for red chest or the Chad from the event? Honestly, I like Apollonier personally. A lot of players say that building out the heroes are not worth it. In my opinion, I do buy out the heroes for the simple fact that they're again roughly 50 to 70 Stargazer cards if you're getting that one copy of Vithiel. And we know Vithiel has an incredible amount of utility within AFK Arena, which is the reason I would get a copy of him if you intend to build him. That's the other kind of, the other big caveat to that point is if you're planning on building Vithiel, yes, one copy again is going to save you 50 to 70 cards as you continue to build them out. But yeah, I wouldn't, I wouldn't invest in it, or I wouldn't buy it unless you're looking again to kind of build out that hero. We got 4 cards, guys. I want to see again. I think Olgath is right there. What do we have? 8. So now we have Olgath and we have Drez. Trishia, we still haven't gotten 1 at this point. We haven't seen her at all. And Gideas, we've just gotten a lot. And look at that, guys. Another new subscriber. I believe that is for Levu. That is subscriber number 4, which is awesome. Does Demia need engraving? It helps a lot. I think the plus 30 in engraving, and there's Trishia right after we talked to her. The plus 30 engraving on Demia does very, very well. The plus 60 eventually, if you're building them out, and there is double, guys. There's Edwin and Oku. Love seeing the double furniture. Yeah, the plus 30 engraving is relatively easy to get for her, and it does make a little bit of a difference. The big thing with her is the signature item, Lucifer. You have to build out the plus 20 signature item on Demia, or her effectiveness is really in the dirt, which is kind of crazy. What's going on, Riley? I'm building out Olgath. Yeah, Olgath, of course, goes hand in hand with Demia, with Matria, goes hand in hand within those formations, and we're almost out of Pokecoins, guys. But look at that, Oku. Oku's another hero that has a lot of utility within the tower. Outside of the tower, again, not seeing an incredible amount of utility with him anymore. It was very short-lived, and there is Gideas again. We're going to be able to max out some of these heroes, guys. I am psyched. There's Demia again. With the amount of Pokecoins we have and the ability to max out these heroes, we had so many heroes that needed so much furniture that essentially we have been waiting for forever. What do we got? A couple more. Demia needs 1. Demia needs 1. So 1, 1, and 1. Look at this. 6 already, guys. We want to build out Amelia as well. Let's see who we can pull. We're doing well. We are doing really well here. The trailer and music. Yes. And Simran, that's one thing with the Awakened version of Safiya, guys. I was super impressed again with the build. I was super impressed with how they introduced her, the backstory, all of that. They did a phenomenal. They did a absolutely phenomenal way to release the Awakened version of Safiya. I just wish again that we had a little bit more utility with the hero, honestly. So looking here, guys, we have Baba Yaga, we have Arthur. All of the Celestials are pretty well built that we use. Even looking in here, we have most heroes already at the 9 of 9. I mean, a majority of these heroes' furniture is pretty well built. Still seeing a lot of utility with, or a little bit of utility when it comes to Saurus. We could build out Granite. We could build out Namisu. A couple more out here. But again, the majority of these, you know what? I'm going to drop out I'm going to put Rowan in here. We're going to get Rowan the 9 of 9 furniture, and I'm going to continue just building these out because, again, we already have 2 that are at 8. We have 4 more pulls here, and then we can recycle, do a couple more summons, which is going to be awesome. I only need 2 copies for Awakened Thane to get him ascended, free to play. Max him out. If you're that close, if you're 2 copies from the Awakened version of Thane, absolutely build him up to ascended. There is no reason to build him out. As much as I would say, yes, go for Belinda. The Awakened version of Thane still does have utility. If you're already building him out, just finish him out. Absolutely, I would build him out. How do you give ideas to the game devs? Okay, the best way to do it is through Discord. A lot of players through Discord. A lot of players give ideas over on Reddit. We do see there's a lot of devs that are AFK Arena. There's a lot of different devs that are in there that you can offer recommendations to. I know a lot of players that have offered recommendations, unfortunately didn't get very far with the recommendations, but still offering up the recommendations. You can do it on a couple of Facebook. I mean, I know they check Facebook as well. There is Olgath, guys, and I believe, again, that takes Olgath to 9 of 9. Damage for some of these heroes is going to be game-changing on this account. Absolutely, guys. I'm going to drop Baba Yaga in here because, again, it still does have a lot of utility. We still need the copy for Drez. He is sitting by himself and has been sitting by himself at that 8 of 8 furniture, or 8 of 9 furniture for an incredible amount of time. It's been a long time coming. Build out some of these heroes. All right. Let me take a look. So Amelia, we want to build out. And I'm thinking utility-wise, I'm probably going to finish out. What do we have? We have 6 here. So let me build out Amelia. And I know we're going to save some of these for Safiya, but over the next probably week at least, we'll have the ability to build some of those out. So that builds her out. And I'm going to build out Guineas. Again, we're seeing Guineas. I need him in the Lightbearer Tower, which we've kind of been using quite a bit. But I'm going to finish out Guineas. I probably could save them for that Awakened version of Safiya, but that is going to give us the ability to actually max out both of those heroes. Boom, 9 of 9 on both. I'm going to drop her out. We were building Lorzen up a little bit because, again, I'm looking bigger picture at heroes that we're still using within different formations. We have Baba Yaga built out of here. Arthur we use on a very rare occasion. I'm going to build out Mahira, just for the simple fact, again, we use Mahira a lot in campaign formations. It doesn't hurt to build them out once you do have the heroes. So finishing out a couple more here, going to take them to 9 of 9. But guys, we have a lot of furniture. We have an incredible, incredible amount. We are at 806 mythic pieces of furniture. That doesn't include everyone that we built over that 9 of 9, which is crazy. It is absolutely kind of crazy. I'm on chapter 24 with a mythic Matria. She doesn't do enough damage. No, with Matria, especially being at mythic Jeremiah, the higher you build her out, the better she's going to perform. That is really one of the big things, is the higher she is, the better she's going to perform. Who is better, Awakened, Athalia, or Matria? Honestly, Matria requires some other Celestials to really perform exceptionally well, like Olgath. Of course, building him out makes a big difference with the damage-wise. She does work in a couple different formations, but again, lacking the damage in a couple different game modes, I would build out the Awakened version of Athalia because she has an incredible amount of utility. Thank you again. I'm old school. I played WoW, but my first online game experience was EverQuest. Yeah, absolutely. I played EverQuest for a very, very short amount of time. WoW, I got about 10 years in. So we definitely had a lot of the old school gamers here, which is awesome. I started with Ultima Online way back when Ultima Online was my first online gaming experience. We played that game for an incredible amount of time, which was very cool to see. I love Ultima Online. I was actually a tamer within that game, if you've ever played it. And there we go, guys. Borrowing some more heroes. That's why I've said, I have a question. I have Awakened Soulless built and just finished Belinda. Which Awakened hero? Kazi, there's a couple. There's a couple that you can build. And general, I would probably go, again, with the Awakened version of Athalia. You could do Brutus. You could do Baden. You could do Athalia. You could do Matria. All 4 of those heroes kind of fall within the very same aspect utility wise, because we're seeing those heroes in a ton of different places. But honestly, I would go with the awakened version of Athalia. And the reason is we are seeing her again used in so many comps. You have to look at where these awakened heroes, because of the sheer cost of them, are being used within formations. Where can you really fit them in, and where does it make sense to build them out? The newer awakened heroes are essentially going to replace eventually the older awakened heroes. We might see, that we get a new awakened Graveborn hero that essentially lowers the utility that we see with the awakened version of Baden, or there's going to be a place, and we're even seeing it actually right now with the awakened version of Brutus, that the awakened heroes are slowly going to be worked out of formations that are going to be replaced by new heroes more on the power creep side. There's going to be a point, and of course we've already seen that in its entirety when it comes to the awakened version of Taylene. She has been replaced. She's been replaced in every game mode short of the tower where she was used. As of right now, guys, I don't use the awakened version of Taylene. I also don't use the awakened version of Aziz, just because, again, they're at the point where they're getting replaced, and we're starting seeing the exact same thing with Brutus. I always bring my morning coffee because talking a lot can kind of agitate the voice. Yep. Greetings from Germany. What is going on, Rudy? Is AFK Journeys very similar idle game? So AFK Journeys, I have a couple videos about AFK Journeys. It has AFK aspects and it has exploration aspects to it, which are pretty cool. I like a lot of things that they bring into AFK Journeys, especially when it comes to the guild aspect, when it goes through the guild stuff that they have for that game. It's specific. There's a lot that they have to change. There's a lot that they've added. They actually did the first major massive patch to AFK Journeys that we've seen, including adding a new hero in there, which again was really cool. We need a dimensional tower. Yes. We have talked about the dimensional tower forever, guys, that it is such a massively, massively needed piece to AFK Arena. I am hoping that sooner than later that they're going to be able to add in or build in a dimensional tower. We need it. We've gotten to the point where we have enough dimensional heroes that it makes sense. Now we're going to go through here, guys. This is going to give me the ability to chat with you guys versus going through and doing all the summons, all of that. So I'm going to run through here. I'm going to make this very easy. And this game mode, guys, to farm resources in here is game changing. It is literally game changing. You have to farm this up every time it's up. The ability to choose heroes out of here, but to get the red cores, to get all of the stuff out of this game mode, you have to farm every aspect, even if you're borrowing heroes, even if you're changing up a lot of the team comps in here. Farm this game mode. Absolutely farm this game mode. Should I wait more to see Awakened Safiya is worth the build? I would. Personally, I would wait to see where that Awakened version of Safiya is being used. Again, we're starting to see her now in the Cursed Realm. We are starting to see her in the Nightmare Corridor. There's going to be a point where she's going to replace older heroes just for the simple fact of the utility that we have. This one, we're looking for Wilders in here. And I think it said support in the front line. So let me do Wilder and let me do support. We'll drop 2 in here, and there we go. That should be good. This game needs made playable again. 1 hour trying or more because you missed the Awokes. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people say, Shadow, is there's going to be a point either you're going to do an incredible amount of attempts, but you're never going to replace the heroes, the awakened version of these heroes, with the non-awakened version. The power's not there. The power in the teams are not there. The scalability or the viability of the awakened heroes are going to overtake the normal heroes, which is what we see. What's going on, Chaotic? Silent Killer is here as well. It won't make a dim tower. They would lose a lot of money. Not really, Ryan. Honestly, once you go through and you make some progression through the dimensional tower, it's kind of one and done. So even if they give, I mean, it's every 20 floors you get 1 or you get 5 cards. Even going through there with the amount of dimensional heroes that they have, they've talked about the dimensional tower. We've had a lot of conversations about the dimensional tower. In my opinion, it's going to come sooner or later. We're going to see the tower. It's just when. It really just makes a difference of when we're going to see it. We need more guild-based stuff. Yes, I know. And that, again, Shady, I know you've watched the channel for an incredible amount of time. I have said really the build together and the guild-based stuff is what this game is missing. It is a major, major serious miss in AFK Arena, is not having the ability to really build relationships with guilds or with people in your guild, with other guild mates, and even doing things in collaboration. That again, that is one of the absolute biggest things that I want to see in AFK Arena, is the ability to do things with your guild on a bigger scale or on a bigger basis. 100%. I 100% win without tanks or warriors in your formation. Guilds have been a pet peeve of mine, guys, because I have played, again, going back, I have played an incredible amount of games through my lifetime, even going back to, God, Final Fantasy 1 on the NES when I got it when I was 6, which again is 30 plus years ago, which is, again, is kind of crazy. But when it started getting into online games, when it started getting into guilds, even looking again, World of Warcraft, Ultima Online, Dark Age of Camelot, EverQuest, whatever it is, the guild is what makes the game. And again, I hope AFK Arena really realizes this, that it is the guild, just like here doing the live streams. It is you guys. It is you guys that make it worth it. Just like I've said with the guilds, with things of that nature, it's really the player base, and it's really the ability to go through and do things as a collaboration with a lot of other people. That is awesome. That is awesome. That makes and takes this journey to really, in my opinion, the next level. It is really getting there. Yeah, even being a guild leader, again, you don't have an incredible amount of stuff you can do. Thing about Wailing, Safiya, and Trisha. Safiya, again, I would wait. I know, again, she's going to have she's gonna have a place. She definitely is gonna have a place. Would I put an incredible amount of money for the utility that she brings? Probably not right now. Just because, again, I don't see her used in a ton of places. And again, the only formation that we're seeing her used in Chaotic is the awakened version of Belinda replacing Rain. But again, it's not making a huge breaking, game-changing difference. Replacing Rain within the formations, Belinda's not doing that much more damage. But if you are looking for the absolute best in slot teams, then you're going to have to build her. You're going to have to build her out. How much do you think you need to build Edwin? Yeah, 203 is good. But again, Darren, with some of the heroes, the higher that you're being used, Awakened Safiya is being used in the top 3 PvP teams. Oh, Sea Beacon, that's I don't PvP. Short of the treasure scramble, just because of the rewards you get in there, I do not PvP at all, which most of you know. Even looking at my formations, even looking at the PvP aspect, I don't. I really don't. I have no, and this is literally every game that I've played through my years. I'm not a huge fan of PvP. I don't really PvP a lot on any accounts in any means. Yeah, PvP I wouldn't. Have I played Dota 2? No, I have not. I kind of limit. Hey, I sent you a question through Discord. Can you check it out later? Yes, absolutely, Jose. I will check it out. Would you say the minimum requirement for Belinda to get her to work right now? Yeah, the higher, and of course, the higher you build out the awakened version of Belinda, the better she's going to work. Yeah, the plus 30 signature item, absolutely a requirement. Furniture, a requirement. Engraving, a requirement. Minimum would probably be 303, 309. Again, if you only have her at Mythic Plus, build her as high as you can. Just like we said earlier with the Awakened Heroes, guys, if you do not build the Awakened Heroes out, they are missing a majority of their skills and abilities. So the general rule of thumb with the Awakened Heroes is they're broken into 4 parts. Signature item, of course, is the second skill. Third skill is the furniture. The fourth skill is the engraving. Every part that you're missing, Grenader, you're missing 25% of what the hero can do. That is really the big thing. So having the plus 30 signature item unlocks that entire second skill that Belinda requires. Having the furniture is going to unlock that third skill. Having the engraving unlocks the fourth skill. You really you really want to build her out, and she's a hero that will work incredibly well, not being fully decked out, but you are missing some of the utility without having her fully built. Again, the higher you build them out, the better you build them out, the better they're going to perform, and that's really it. Under Ascended, don't do SI30. Yeah, and again, and this is why I go back, Kadok, is focusing on specific heroes. Kill one enemy backline first in battle. What are they using for this? I know we could do the poll. We could probably do Athalia. I think Athalia would work incredibly well for the gold. What are they using? Yeah, they're using, look at this. That is a pretty funny combination. Let's see the top guys. Level 602, just using Eins. They're literally just using the raw power of Eins and Ezio to kill those backline heroes first, which will work. I mean, we can go ahead and look, Arthur's in there too. But look at that, decked out dimensionals. I like seeing that. Let's drop this one in here, and I'll drop in Eins. I still do use Eins, and that's why I said for a lot of different players, Eins still does work incredibly well, guys. For some players that don't have, you know, every hero built, things of that nature, Eins is still a hero that does work incredibly well in a lot of different game modes. That is the reason why, again, a lot of players still do use him, even though he is an older hero. The utility is still there. Boom, 30 more hours on that. Let's collect up our resources. There's our Poke Coins. There's all of our Summon Stones, which is awesome to see. She overheats too fast at the M30. So there you go. So we said don't do the SI30 because she overheats. I know a lot of her build is super dependent on what you have for her and who you're running it with. I know that was another big thing is when you're running the Awakened version of Belinda, just like a lot of other heroes, depending who you're running her with and who you have kind of built out in that same formation, it makes a big difference. How important is the Elder Tree really? So the Elder Tree overall is probably one of the game-changing things. And the reason being, let me break this down for you, Deshella. Within the Elder Tree, as we continue to get more heroes in AFK Arena, this is a game changer because it affects everyone of the specific class. So the Elder Tree, honestly, is probably one of the biggest overlooked things within AFK Arena because it affects every single class. For instance, and this is one of the big things, the Abyssal Expedition. I came in here, we actually hit a couple more levels today. We need a little bit more essence, which we might actually have right there to complete. This is where you want to. Now we're a day in, a little bit over a day. We're in Earl. I'm going to have to take a couple more tiles in here, but making progression within the guild, we're making a lot of progression. We are not a top guild. We're not a competitive guild. And Adventure Walk, big shout out to them. But overall, looking in here, I am using and I'm running warriors. You can see my warriors right here. When you stack the build of a warrior tree, it is a multiplication factor. And that is one of the big things that is really changing in here is the multiplication factor that you see. So right here, guys, 17.6% HP attack and defense. Not only the regular HP attack and defense, you are stacking a multiplication factor on here, which is the big reason when you start stacking on SIs, when you get furniture, when you get engraving, the percentages on top of percentages on top of percentages are the absolute game-changing difference when it comes, again, to some of the damage dealers in here, which is huge. It is huge when you get, again, when you're stacking the Elder Tree, guys, a 17.6% boost across the board for the stats. Not only the secondary abilities that you're getting out of here, but the multiplication factor that you get in these other game modes, it is huge. It is absolutely huge. Haste, of course, within the support tree and the tanking tree is really big. But again, when you want to maximize the damage, the Elder Tree does it, especially when you're running multiple game modes and when you're running in multiple teams. So when you look at Nightmare Corridor, when you look at the Cursed Realm, running 6 teams, again, makes a big difference. Even looking at the Treasure Scramble, the Temple Rift, when you're running a bunch of multiple teams, the Elder Tree is now going to have a much larger impact because you're running multiple teams and you're running a lot more heroes within there. Even though I am just second day, I'm able to follow up your content easily. Oh, thank you. And thank you for subbing to the channel, guys. That is 5. That is what we were looking for. And it looks like the camera is holding up incredibly well. But yeah, the Elder Tree is super important, guys, again, with the build. Now, when you think of a specific hero, for instance, let's use the Awakened version of Safiya. If I'm putting a lot of time and effort into the Awakened version of Safiya, of course, she is going to perform better. If I put time and effort into the Elder Tree to buff up the support, it is now going to affect, of course, every single hero you see here across the board, which is, again, the reason why the Elder Tree does have a big important aspect to it, is you're affecting every single hero, and all of these heroes are in multiple game modes, which is really cool. They should make Awakened Safiya Ultimate instead of charging. Yes, absolutely, Kraken. That would make a game-changing difference with Safiya. That they put in the ult delay. They really limited her damage. And that's one of the big things, is they really did limit the damage that we have with that Awakened version of Safiya because of the delay in the ultimate ability, or the power up of the ultimate ability. They really needed to, if they were going to make her support. And again, I feel like if they took out that delay, her damage would be incredibly, incredibly high, which again, some players absolutely love. I think it would make a big difference. Let's see, I think we got a new chest. So here, I'm going to go ahead, and again, I'm going to choose, now, you know what? I'm going to go engraving mats on this one. I've been picking Poke Coins out of here. Now, this is really the big reason why I had 162,000 Poke Coins. I've been pulling a lot of Poke Coins out of a bunch of different game modes. I know I need some more engraving mats to actually be able to build up a couple more heroes, just shy of building up. And I'm saving both of these right now for Safiya as we speak to go ahead and save. There's Guineas again, guys. We've been happy to get a ton of copies of Guineas on this one. I'm going to have to build them out a little bit further. I'm going to go through, I'm going to recycle a lot of what I have going on with my heroes in here. We have a lot of food. We have an incredible amount of food in that game mode to continue to recycle. And of course, guys, Temple Rift is going to be done. I got to do the Bountiful Trials. Haven't done those as of yet, but we went through and we did the Dune. Why did Taylene fall off when it... So the big thing, Rudy, with Taylene, in a lot of comps, Taylene is still working incredibly well. Or do you mean the Awakened version of Taylene? So the Awakened version of Taylene has just fallen off power-wise. And that's really the big thing, guys. When you look at the combat rating, overall, the Awakened version of Taylene is going on, what, 2 years old at this point? So there's a point where she has just been replaced by a lot of other heroes. I mean, we have, I believe, almost 130 heroes in AFK Arena right now, which again is kind of crazy to think. But I believe we're about 130 heroes deep in AFK Arena, which again, takes an incredible amount of time and effort to build them. But over time, they do get there and replaced by power creep heroes. Newer heroes always have more damage and more combat rating than older heroes, is what we've seen through time. Belinda in the Twins. What 2 heroes are worth taking to 35? So yeah, definitely the Awakened version of Belinda, definitely worth taking to 35. And what you want to look at, Chaotic, is the substats. So right here, guys, haste is the plus 35 for Belinda. I believe it might be even the 40. That gives her additional haste. Haste is still the strongest aspect of AFK Arena. I did the same with Brutus. I took Brutus to a plus 35 again to add the haste on there long before we had Belinda. There are very few, but taking them to 35, even here, I don't take any of them. When you look at 30, 30, 30, it's too expensive, guys. 37 right here. This is a very unique situation with the original version of Taylene to keep her combat rating over the power creep heroes that we have. I took her to a 37. I built her engraving much higher. I also did her furniture higher to be able to build her a little bit higher. What's going on? Can ya? Thank you for joining us. Because Lilith pumps out. Yeah, and that's it. It's really with the average heroes, as they continue to get stronger, they replace older heroes. I mean, I'm keeping up fine on my free to play. Yeah, free to play. And again, a lot of players, you really have to think of where you are in AFK Arena. For instance, let's say for the treasure scramble, for a lot of different game modes, guys, the way that I really put it in perspective and the way that you do have to think about it is if you're going to score in the top 1%, you're going to have to spend essentially what the top 1% of players are spending to keep up. Free to play, again, my free to play account, I stay usually about 10%. Even when you look at different game modes, even looking here within the Cursed Realm, within the Nightmare Quarter, things of that nature, different game modes, even with what I spend in AFK Arena, I try to stay around 10%. I do not put enough time and effort and money essentially into AFK Arena to score in the top 1%, 5%, 10%. I stay in about the 10% plus, which I am totally happy with. It is just not having a lot of these heroes built out, which keep me at the percentage that I'm at. You have to be okay with it. If you're a free-to-play player, are you going to be in the top 1%? No. It's going to be near impossible to get into that top 1% when you're looking at 6 different teams and when you're looking at other heroes that are coming out through time. You're not going to get there. You're not going to get there by any means. I've just pulled Orthos randomly. Is he worth building? Orthos is a very, very niche use case, and you do have to have Tailene built, and I'll show you what I mean. So within here, most of the best in slot heroes are running still the awakened version of, or the original version of Tailene, which is right here. So Tailene together with Orthos is a very high combination, but Orthos does require either a very, very high built out original version of Tailene or a very, very high version built out of Matria. Those are really the two use cases that we see this hero within. Without either of those, Orthos doesn't have a lot of utility within here. Can you please show us actual teams in the Treasure Scramble? So the big thing to use within the Treasure Scramble, Maya Yoga, is where you're at. So I show the teams within the Treasure Scramble that I utilize. I also use, again, a lot of the leaderboard. So depending within your division where you're at, or depending where you're at within the Treasure Scramble, I showed some free-to-play teams, which I do use. I show some pay-to-win teams, which I do use on here. Again, it's super dependent, and that's why it's kind of hard, because I don't know what heroes you have. That is really that is really one of the big things, is the teams that you can use within the Treasure Scramble are super dependent on the heroes you have available. That's one of the bigger things. So my free-to-play account, I have 4 awakened heroes at this point, which again works incredibly well because I can go ahead and I can work 4 of my awakened heroes in the teams. But again, it is super dependent on who you have. Even going in here, guys, even adjusting or modifying your formation, look at who you have. Look at the availability of the formations based, again, on the heroes that you have specifically. That is going to work within those formations. You really have to look at who you have built. This is going to change dramatically depending on who you have built. And again, it's hard to look at a hero lineup and say, hey, these heroes are going to work specifically for player A, for player B, for player C, for player D, because they're all going to have them built out, and they're all going to have them built out in a different manner. They're all going to have them built out kind of at a different level, which is big. It is really, really big. Again, depending on the heroes that you have within the game modes, the formations will change incredibly, incredibly different. Nightmare Corridor rank isn't worth much if it means top 5% in one region. Yeah, and that's a Shadow. That's another thing, again, that I don't pay much attention to. Every region is going to be a little bit different. Even within the Treasure Scramble, the regions are going to be incredibly different. And it's not going to make a big difference from one region to another, because the region that you're in is the region you're in, and you're kind of stuck with that. You're going to have to stay, and you're going to be stuck within the region that you're in. Is Thorn Cheese still a thing? Yes. Short of campaign formations, guys, Thorn Cheese is still a thing. Thorn Cheese still does work within campaign formations, which is right there. Thorn Cheese is always and has always been within formations. We also still do see the Thorn Cheese within the tower, the King's Tower, and also with the Graveborn. Sometimes you'll see the Thorn Cheese. It still works, and it still works incredibly well. The Thorn Cheese have never changed. Is there an updated guide? No, Boatman. The Thorn Cheese has always been the same. And Katasuki team, thank you for subbing to the channel. I didn't notice that one till right now, guys, but that is awesome. That brings us to 6. I believe that is 6 subscribers to the live stream, which is amazing, guys. We try to shoot again for 5 every single time. We're almost closing in on 34,000. I think we're closing in on 34,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. And Javid is here. Yes, a little bit late, Javid, but thank you for joining us. I'm not sure if you're able to log into the account as of right now, but it is very, I spent over 500, didn't get enough. I could be close. I could be close at Gaming Saga because I need 2 more copies to build her out a little bit higher. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have those copies for a little bit, but I could be in the exact same boat. We could have bad RNG on those last 2 copies, and I could be at 500 plus. Some players getting incredibly lucky within the game mode. Some players, unfortunately, not having a lot of luck when it comes to. Did I buy a new camera? Yes, this is the new setup, guys. We changed it quite a bit. I actually got a camera instead of a webcam. So it is a legitimate camera. I got a new mic. We got a light. We got a little bit more of a professional setup here to make some of the financial videos. And on the financial channel, we're almost to 350 subscribers, which again is kind of crazy to see. Can't update the game. I think it might just be where you're at, Javid, that you're kind of locked out. But let me see if we have enough to do our viewer membership giveaway, guys. I love doing this, and I love doing this every single time. So let me see if I can hop over, if I can do the membership giveaway. I'm hoping that it will let me take a look. So let me see if I can do the membership gifting here. Because I think I have enough. I think I have enough in here to go ahead and do 1. So we have enough to do, again, 1 membership gifting. Should show up here in just a minute, which is awesome. I've been watching you for a while, but never subscribed. Here you go. All right. Well, there we go. So subscribe to the channel, guys. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. Kraken Crunch time. There we go. There is your membership. So you have the membership. But that account has stupidly insane rates. Yeah, some of them, guys, the insane rates come and go if you're doing it enough. And I know some players, how is Awakened Safiya? Is she worth building? Right now, JJP, I would hold off. I would definitely hold off on building the Awakened version of Safiya, just for the simple fact that we're not seeing a ton of utility with her. And essentially, like I was talking about a little bit earlier, it seems like we are seeing her replacing Rain. So that's really where we're seeing her, is the replacement of Rain within formations, which I believe she's right here. So this used to be the slot that we seen with Rain. It seems like Rain is going to be replaced essentially by the Awakened version of Belinda. But if you don't have this Awakened version of Belinda, Rain still works incredibly well. So again, not a huge drive. Now I know Treasure Scramble players were saying that she is showing up in formations, which we did see, I believe, here as well in the first formation. I was kind of looking real quick, but it seems like she is in here with Rem. Again, we're going to have to see exactly where she comes in. Is it going to be worth the cost and expense to build her out right now? I would just wait. And honestly, when you get to the point of having enough cards to build one of these heroes, so probably roughly 400 cards, then you can go ahead, you can build out the new hero based on having those 400 cards and being able to actually build her out and making sure, again, that she has the utility within there. My time emblems reset is 12 days. There you go. So more time emblems are going to be coming pretty soon. What do you think of an account and not using diamonds until chapter 16? It can work, Mohab. The big thing is, if you're not using those diamonds, you're missing out on elite heroes. Anytime that you're saving your diamonds, you're not using the resources that AFK Arena is giving to you, it is hurting your account. Because essentially you could pull an Awakened hero with those diamonds. If you're doing your regular summons, you could go through, you could pull Celestials, you could pull Hypogens, you could pull heroes that are going to have a lot of utility within a bunch of different game modes that you're missing out on. And look at that, guys. Body, we have another subscriber. That is 7. I believe that is 7 in total for the subscribers, which again is very, very cool to see. Do you have any REM formation recommendations? I believe I have a couple in here that I kind of saved Rem, of course, running incredibly well with Amelia. So Rem and Amelia together work incredibly well. This one is running Brutus in here. But when you go through a ton of different game modes, Rem is run with a bunch of other dimensional heroes. Rem Ulna is super popular, guys. That is a formation that I've actually been running in a ton of different game modes, is actually running Ulna with Rem. I wonder what I'm running in here with Rem. There's Rem. So Rem running with the dimensionals. And of course, Amelia in here for crowd control. We have crowd control for Mulan. Damage mitigation here. Then, of course, buffs out of this one with Albedo. And then Rem in this formation, guys, works incredibly well. I am very happy. If you can keep Rem alive, works well. This game mode, again, if you can keep her alive, it does work incredibly well. Of course, this heavy level deficiency in here, but overall still does work. And Amelia works very well. I'm pretty happy with both of the heroes from the crossover event working incredibly well. But yeah, Rem again used in probably about 3 or 4 different formations, Jose, that work incredibly well. All Awakens are under 350 except for Taylene, she was 350 exactly. I've been running about 400 to 700 chaotic for the summons. Again, Brutus took me around 400. Thane took me around 700. So it's kind of crazy to see the wild variation that we see between the builds and how much it does take. I'm going to continue, guys. I'm going to build out a little bit more of Safiya. So I believe, again, we need, and I use these chests first. If I can get some of these chests, I love using these because these are actually saving my resources. These are saving my cards by actually getting tier 1 or getting tier 2 stones out of there. That way I can actually save the tier stones to build out a little bit more of what we're using. So the tier 1 with Safiya. Tier 4 stones are another one, guys, that just kind of come with time. Tier 4 stones are not something that I would super heavily invest in early game or even kind of getting into mid game. I wouldn't put a crazy amount of resources into building out the gear. Again, very easy. I very early, just because it's gear for one specific hero. There's a lot of different places that I would put my resources again before I would build out, before I'd focus on building out gear. If you have the stones, great, but make sure that you're prioritizing the heroes that you're using in a bunch of different game modes versus putting everything into the new heroes or building out the gear as fast as possible. I have 4560 Merlin. Do you think I can pair them with Rem and make it work without Albedo? You can. You can make it work, but Albedo, of course, provides a incredible amount of buffs. That's one of the big things is Albedo is major buffer when it comes to the dimensionals. That is why Albedo is actually one of the highest priority dimensional heroes that we have are really the builds. Yeah, 700 YR, that was one of my the Awakened version of Thane took over 700. Check Timan. Thank you for joining us. First time watching live. Thank you for joining us. Put Albedo or Amelia E60. Amelia. So Albedo doesn't really need it, guys. Albedo, even the plus 30, makes a little bit of a difference. The big thing with Albedo is the tenacity. So being able to crowd control, that's the reason right here again, this stun, but building up through engraving the tenacity. 100%, guys, I would go for Roberto. I would go for Amelia long before I would go to Albedo. Absolutely. Only reason I want to build Safiya is I like the avatar. Crack and Crunch, I'm on the exact same road that you are. I love the Awakened version of Safiya. I love the build out. I love the design and how she looks. Again, not super impressed with the hero, but overall, I like the design of the hero. I wish it had a little bit more utility. Which Awakened hero should I go for? I have Brutus. Yep, Brad, the Awakened version of Belinda. Belinda is absolutely the biggest priority. Which are Beast priority after 9? So after 9, the Beast priority is the Winged Lion does incredibly well. If you're going 9, the Winged Lion, the Seal does incredibly well. The Fox does incredibly well. Even the Owl. The Owl is another one that is going to do incredibly well within formations. Now, of course, Belbello doesn't work under 15. So you do have to have to drive her quite a bit. 15 is where you actually get this ability, which gives the shield, which makes her actually worth it. 18, of course, is a lot better when you do build her up a little bit higher. I'm trying to get everyone to 15 right now. You can see we have a 14, 13, 13, then a couple more 12s. I'm shooting for beasts at 15 is what I'm looking for right now, and we're pretty close. I mean, we have a couple more to build out, but just the overall, I know it does take quite a while to build up the beast, and that's what it's going to be. Not sure who to have next. I have Solus and Belinda. Not sure who to build every week from Cursed Realm. I don't have any hypos, Matria, effectiveness. Awakened Athalia. Revolution, I would go for the awakened version of Athalia. And again, guys, the reason behind it is she has an incredible amount of utility. Is best in slot in a bunch of different game modes, is used within the Celestial Tower for damage. The awakened version of Athalia would be my choice probably out of the next 4, just because the older ones are don't really have the utility. Some of the older heroes are kind of getting power creeped out is what we're seeing little by little. Just because Iron still needs Albedo, I want to use Irons and Rem in different formations. Oh yeah, I mean that will work. I got Wing Lion to 12. Who should I focus on for 12? Again, if you're taking them to 12, a couple of them, Wing Lion, of course, is good. Seal is good because Seal, of course, is going to put out a lot of damage. The Fox is good to build up a little bit higher. The Owl, even Talisman, is good to build up a little bit higher. Again, every 10 seconds, this is going to do, following a longevity lock, hero receives damage. Again, there's a lot of different heroes or a lot of different beasts. I would definitely build out, again, I would go with the Owl. I would go with the Seal. I love the Seal. I love the damage that the Seal puts out, which is awesome. It definitely works. I don't understand what the Owl does. So the Owl, the usefulness of Owl is the ability to buff haste. And also when you look through here, so it is down here, now prolong the duration of allied buffs. So the allied buffs are going up higher. This is very prevalent when it comes to the awakened version of Belinda, or if you look at the duration, if there is a length duration of buffs, like what Daemia does, and that's why, again, a lot of players do run Daemia with the Owl, it extends the buffs. In addition, it reduces the duration of enemy buffs, and it also provides crowd control, which are two very, very strong things, guys. The ability to extend the duration of the buffs and the ability to actually crowd control, which is huge. And then, of course, right here, they become immune to damage and control effects. This is giving an immunity at the level 9, which is awesome. Yep, works well with Elna, works well with heroes that you have issues with survivability because they give the immunity to damage, which is huge if they stay in the time zone, especially if you can bring the heroes together. And if you can stack the heroes together, it's going to work incredibly well. I decided to go for one of each copy of the Awakened Heroes after I got Belinda to right now. I have all but Aziz, which means I might skip. Honestly, I have all but Aziz, but I might skip. But now I'm thinking to do Brutus or Solus. So honestly, I would do Solus. The big reason is, guys, Solus is another hero that has utility in every formation. After Solus, you can kind of deviate a little bit, but with Solus doing specifically what she does in buffing up and the ability within formations, that is the reason why, again, at this point with the Awakened version of Safiya, we haven't seen changes in the tier list, but it is still working incredibly well, which is why I would go with that Awakened version of Solus at this point. She is still the one that I would build after Belinda. All right, guys, I know we're a little bit over on time now, but I wanted to cover some of this, make sure that we got everything done. I wanted to test out the new camera. It's at 1:20 right now. New camera working incredibly well. I'm loving the setup. Got the light a little bit brighter, which again, any feedback, guys, drop it down below in the comments so I can check it out. We're going to change it up. I have to paint in here. There's a lot of things we want to do inside the office to set up and kind of change the layout and everything for AFK Arena. Now, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you would, please do me a favor, hop over, subscribe on that financial literacy channel. It is down below. The other two channels haven't really been doing a lot with. but the financial channel is really taking off, and I'm loving the content. We have a lot more that is coming over there, and that is something that I do professionally. That is actually what I do. I am a certified financial counselor through the state of Michigan. I do budgeting, I do planning, I do investing, do a lot of things of that nature. But again, guys, that'll do it for today's live stream. Thank you guys for joining me. I always look forward to this on Sunday. It is really, really cool to see. Have a great weekend. Have a good day. I have to go cut the grass. I have to go shopping. I have a list of stuff that I have to do today. So again, guys, thank you guys for joining me. Have a safe weekend. And as always, thank you guys for watching.